We are transported back to 75 BC. A young man plans to travel from Rome to the island of Rhodes. On the island of Rhodes, he plans to study under the teacher that will teach him the art of speech, the art of seduction, the art of captivating the masses and cultivating an audience. For this young man is a very ambitious young man. He plans to have achieved grand things before his life is over. This young man believes he is descended from the gods. Is he delusional? Let's find out. This young man boards upon a ship that will take him to the island of Rhodes. However, a few days into the voyage, he is captured by Sicilian pirates. The pirates live on the detriment of others. They benefit while others lose. So the pirates live on ransom, and if a nobleman is able to pay ransom, good. If the man is not able to pay the ransom, then that man will pay in his blood. So the pirates demand this young man for 20 talents of silver. To their shock, the young man laughs. He says 20 is too low a sum for somebody like me. Demand 50 at least, for I am of noble birth, descended from the gods, destined for great things. The pirates are as amused and shocked. However, they relent and they demand 50 talents of silver. This young man sends off his companion back to Rome to collect this sum, while he spends the next 38 days aboard this pirate ship. This experience will not sound like any experience we are imagining, for this is not an ordinary young man. He spends the next 38 days captivating his audience rather than trying to make himself look invisible and submissive and kowtowing to his captors. He behaves as if he is their leader, rousing them with speeches, making them listen to his poetry, even joking about crucifying them after he's earned his freedom. The pirates take this young man's antics with amusement and enjoyment and with captivation. And after 38 days, the young man's companion returns with the sum of 50 talents, which is paid to the pirates in exchange for this young man's freedom. Now, whatever you might be thinking, this young man did exactly what he said. Traveled back to Rome, raised the legion, returned to find the pirates, and then crucified them all, while reminding each and every one of his promise. This remarkable, audacious story of this young, audacious man comes from a time where heroes and mythology existed. This young man's name is Gaius Julius Caesar, otherwise known as Julius Caesar. So today we are going to be looking at practical lessons we can take as young men on self-improvement from the great Julius Caesar. Firstly, from this story, what we can learn is asserting value and not relenting when somebody is disrespecting you. So Caesar thought of this as disrespect, that these Sicilian pirates have taken him hostage and then demanded such a low sum. Mind you, Caesar is not a rich young man, because even though he does have a great name, the historical events prior to this experience that Caesar has at 25 years old, those events have caused his family to lose a lot of money. Caesar is not a rich man. He's a man of famous last name. Sure, yes, Julius, but he is not rich. So to asked the pirates to demand 50 talents instead of 20, he must have known that this money needs to be collected. But instead of allowing the pirates to take a lower sum than what he thought he was worth, he forced them to take a higher sum, which would be at his own detriment, since he doesn't really have the money. His family doesn't have this money. This money would need to be collected from other families, which would give them this money on basis of friendship and reputation and knowing each other in that social economic class. So this is a very audacious, bold move by Caesar to ask the pirate, or to tell the pirates to do this. And essentially it comes down to Caesar valued himself so highly. And we also, as young men, need to value ourselves so highly, especially we are watching content like this, which is on self-improvement, which is on developing your body, your physicality, your relationships, your finances, your attributes, different skills, spiritual growth. If we are going towards self-mastery in ourselves, we need to accept the fact that we are in a progress of becoming great men. So even in a downtrodden moment and even in moments of hopelessness or negativity, we need to understand that our value is high, because the essential fact is this: it is not what you do, it is who you are. Rich people, millionaires, entrepreneurs always say this. Charlie Morgan, who I follow, who I really like, says this one thing: it's not about what you do or how much you earn, it's about who you become that allows you to earn the amount. So he's a multimillionaire, and he describes himself not as getting a multi-million dollars, but becoming a person who is entitled to a multi-million dollar business. So going along the same lines, when in social interactions, in business settings, in professional settings, respectfully, we do need to assert our value. And all things set aside, there is an inherent value in you as a human male, regardless of everything else. Just by the fact that you have life inside of you and a spirit, you have energetic potential. Just on basis on the fact of that potential, you have value. So assert it. Don't submit and bow down in front of other human beings. Be respectful, be courteous, be humble in front of people you consider superiors, but don't bow down to every other person. And this includes with women, especially with women. Do not bow down to their behavior. If they are behaving negatively or disrespectfully, then assert your value. The essential idea to be taken here is assertion of our inherent value, and also assertion of our value that is on the basis of the fact that we are on a hero's journey of self-improvement. And the next thing we come to, which is linked to the previous point, is commanding respect. Commanding respect is about a few different things. Essentially, it's about confidence. But confidence is a concoction of a few different things. Number one, confidence is body language. Body language is non-verbal communication, which makes up of 60 to 70% of the communication between human beings is non-verbal. Facial expressions, eye movements, hand movements, feet placements, taking up of space, placing of posture, your head, neck. So all of these things, they tie into body language. And essentially, the one way to correct your body language is not through focusing on the physical aspects of the body language, but to focus on the internal state. Just like how we discussed earlier, it's not what you do, it's who you are. So it's who you are in this moment that can be changed through changing your internal state. So let's say if you are in a tense situation, let's say there is a attractive woman sitting across from me and I am feeling very nervous. I know I'm nervous inside. So it would lead up to submissive, not audacious like body language. Okay, it would. So how do I change that body language instead of focusing on every single different aspect? Firstly, just open up. Just open up, take up space. Breathe. And on the exhale, I want to visualize. Don't close your eyes, because if you're talking to a pretty girl, you maybe don't want to go in the middle of a conversation. That would be weird. So just while talking, because our brain is very powerful, it's able to do multiple things at a time. So while talking, visualize as you breathe out your energy and your state becoming calm. Because nervous energy is, or being nervous is energy which is very fast. It's nervous, it's shaky, you are exploding in a sense. And confident energy is very grounded, it's very calm, it's very slow, but it's deliberate, slow and deliberate. So, and now I've become present with the girl. Another thing to do to assert good body language is to change the focus from how you are feeling to how the person you are communicating with is. So placing the focus on them, understanding them, trying to engage them, and not really thinking of yourself. And through that, you automatically exude more dominant, more confident, more assertive energy, and more engaging also. So to wrap it around, projecting good body language is not so much about correcting the body language on the outside, but rather correcting your internal state. And to correct your internal state, one of the essential things we can do right now in any moment is breath. Breath is life, and through breath we can change our state. So you breathe into the lower regions and then you breathe out slightly longer than how long you breathed in. So let's say 5 seconds in, 7 seconds out. And while you're breathing out, visualize yourself becoming calm, confident, or even visualize yourself in a situation that makes you feel confident. Let's say you're really confident in the gym, but you are extremely underconfident in a social situation. Picture yourself in the gym when you visualize out. Picture the confidence you feel there and allow it to transmute to the current situation, to the current moment. This is very esoteric stuff, or this sounds like it's very esoteric stuff, but essentially it comes down to breath, visualization, intention, and attention. It is what you place your attention on and what your intention is that puts you in that state that you want to be in. So being mindful of that is necessary. The next thing we can learn from Caesar is to turn negative or bad situations, as supposedly bad situations, into a positive outcome. In this particular story, Caesar could have seen this situation as, oh, I'm taken by pirates, oh, I don't have the money, I don't know what will happen to me. He could have died easily and in a very gruesome fashion, especially in the way that he was behaving, which was cocky and arrogant and taking up space and talking and trying to engage his captors rather than try to be invisible. All of that probably came from the fact that he reframed this. He must have thought, I've been taken over by Sicilian pirates. Firstly, I'm going to showcase to them, to my companions, and to the rest of Rome, because this story is definitely going to reach the rest of Rome. that I value myself so highly that I will force the pirates to take a higher sum, even though it's at my own detriment. He then also realized that he's going to travel back to Rome. He raise up a legion, come back, and if he's able to capture the pirates, he will crucify them and take back the sum that he had to collect to pay for his release. These are all very audacious and risky moves, but these are the best things that he can take from the current situation. And this is the same concept we need to apply to our life, from small things to large things. I hit my toe on the table and it hurts. This is a chance to practice composure. This is a chance to practice a virtue, a skill that I can develop. And if I got rejected by a girl, or got rejected in an interview, or my business failed, or my video wasn't watched by anybody, this is a chance I can take to improve in this particular area, or change the approach, or maybe continue with the approach. All things can have a more and a less beneficial outcome. And the way to choose the more beneficial outcome is to first detach from the perceiving the situation as negative. If Caesar went aboard that ship and started crying and behaving in the manner which would have been understandable, to be honest, he's aboard a pirate ship. He's been captured. He is 25 years old, doesn't have a lot of money to pay them. He has a name, but there's a whole plethora of problems in front of him. He could have been extremely distressed by the situation, but instead he chose to behave audaciously. And this is the lesson we take from this. And how do we do this? We do this through reframing. Reframe the event in your mind. I approached that girl. She said no, she was not interested. And I reframed that in my mind to being, well, that's one person I know I'm not compatible with. So I can move on. I can close that loop. I don't have to think about the fact that, that opportunity passed by and I didn't take it. I can close that loop. That's an advantage. That's a huge advantage. Human beings, as far as I know, we hate open loops. You don't want to be continuously thinking about the same thing. Just close that loop. So that's a huge advantage we did in that scenario. So reframing the situation to a positive or to a more quirky and different perception is good for us. So another example I can give, which I was just thinking of, is that let's say you are about to leave a room and in front of a bunch of people you fall. And it's obviously in your mind, in your perception, this is an embarrassing moment, right? Let's even make it more grand. Let's say it's like a movie theater, but the movie's not playing, the lights are on and you're wearing a suit and it's very fancy and you fall in front of everybody and you spill your drink on your suit. Embarrassing event? Sure. But you could reframe that into, we can go back to the analogy of the game, the character, and the player. Remember, the player gets to see the things in third person. The player is not attached to the event. And in your mind, the player, the soul, the spirit can look at that event of you falling and just laugh. Be like, I should be less clumsy. Next time I'll be less clumsy. Maybe I'll put that drink down. Or so much for this jacket. You know, a whole host of things your inner monologue can say. And those things can reframe the event. But the reframing will only happen consciously. Remember, intention and attention. When something that you don't like comes to your attention, change the intention, and then that experience will change. because all experience is subjective experience. What the objectivity of something happening doesn't really matter. It's how you react to it. It's the subjectivity that matters to us. And the best part about it is that the subjectivity can be changed through the use of visualization, through the use of breath, through the use of reframing. Next one is maintaining composure under pressure. We face pressure situations every single day. The easiest and most accessible way to keep composure is through breath. Deep, conscious, attentive, and intended breathing, and allowing it to charge up. I'll visualize as the breath goes in, there is a ball of light, of energy that is filling your body. And it goes out, and all that fear, nervousness, extra energy is releasing, and the waters are becoming calm. These are the lessons we can take from Julius Caesar. So stay audacious, apply these things in your life. See you on the next one.